Hi there, welcome to Apple World. I'm terrified to death. Johnny Depp and Amber Heard's marriage finished on the most terrible note conceivable, a separation and claims of abusive behavior at home, yet with additional subtleties in their painful relationship, raising a ruckus around town. Fans are beginning to reevaluate a portion of the times Johnny Depp attempted to caution us about Amber, from his endeavors to conceal indications of actual maltreatment, with humor to the awkward looks and signals when they are together. These are the lamentable times when Johnny Depp attempted to caution us about Amber, which we missed during a public interview for the 2015 wrongdoing biopic Dark Mass. Johnny Depp and his co-star Dakota Johnson had an association that was as of late hyper-zeroed in on in view of the court procedures in the now brought-down unique YouTube video with more than 4 million perspectives, which was named the specific second Dakota Johnson realized Amber Heard was. Rough towards Johnny Depp and the various forms of the clasp that have been transferred since we can see Johnny show Dakota his cut-off finger, and the timetable lines up with his records in court in the video. Dakota hangs over to get a decent glance at the finger and gets some information about it in spite of the fact that there is no sound of their communication in commonplace. Johnny Depp style, he appears to poke a fun at it, and the two of them dismiss it. However, it's the articulations that they wear. After that cooperation that makes us accept there was more happening with Johnny's life than he persuaded everybody to think Dakota examined worry all over, and she continued to look at Johnny after the video re-emerged. Fans have remarked that Johnny appeared to be awkward and restless after Dakota saw his finger. One fan composed on Twitter, "Simply watch the video of Johnny Depp from the Dark Mass debut when he showed Dakota Johnson's his cut-off finger and he was shaking after he made it happen and was having a mental breakdown." Their connection had persuaded fans to think that Dakota is an example of the rare type of person who realized that Amber Heard was mishandling Johnny right off the bat in their marriage. And as another fan composed on Twitter, that video of Dakota and Johnny when Johnny kids about his finger, you can see the trouble and worry in front of her. It simply makes me extremely upset each time. It truly was one of the shocking snapshots of Johnny attempting to tell us something was off base and we missed it. As a matter of fact, we likely would have never had some significant awareness of this second on the off chance that it hadn't been for the re-emerged video, and not by any means the only video shows a second when Johnny required help, yet couldn't request it straightforwardly. In 2015, Amber Heard unlawfully headed out to Australia with the couple's Yorkshire Terriers, Gun and Boo. The movement part wasn't really unlawful, it was the canines that were not permitted in that frame of mind to customs regulations, and in light of the fact that she had documented a movement card regardless of the way that she flew on a personal luxury plane, and she pronounced that she wasn't bringing anything including creatures into Australia, the couple were in a difficult situation when the specialists got fresh insight about the canine's presence. Amber was hit with a ton of charges, inconceivable conviction, and her primary clarification was that she was carrying the canines to meet Johnny, who was recording Privateers of the Caribbean. You can depend on a dead man to stay quiet around then. Anyway, fans don't really accept that she illicitly went with the canines at Johnny Depp's solicitation. On a Twitter post about how Johnny never took his canines to shooting areas before this occurrence, one client remarked his colleague said that Depp didn't had any desire to carry his canines to different nations, and he realized he wouldn't possess sufficient energy for his canines while working, so he left them at home with individuals. They realized this is genuine creature love, not choking a canine with a rope. However, attempt at finger-pointing isn't even the most appalling piece of this episode. As the specialists and the previous couple attempted to settle the case, Johnny and Amber delivered an expression of remorse video in 2016 by means of the Australian government branch of agribusiness, and the video was peculiar without a doubt. The clearly prearranged statement of regret was clumsily perused by the couple. However, it was only after years after Amber Heard got off the charges, and the couple were separated from that fans started to see that Johnny Depp wasn't just being king or casual. In the video he looked extremely disturbed, and some even proposed that he might have been compelled to take ownership of the wrongdoing, when it was as a matter of fact Amber who was liable for unlawfully acquiring the canines. Another Johnny Depp fan composes on Twitter, "I recollect April 2016. 1 month before the separation, Johnny Depp and Amber heard a conciliatory sentiment over their canines being in Australia. I saw the pics in the papers and realized there was something was off. Or is it just me? The danger go on with later. We figure out this mother was exceptionally sick and passed on, so perhaps it was pressure from that. Yet presently, I wonder, was it much more he just looked so depleted managing his mom's disease, a looming divorce, and making a general acknowledgement to the country he was working in was certainly a lot for Johnny Depp to manage, and it's lamentable to believe that this might have been a second where he really wanted fans to help him and noticed that something was off base, yet rather the web chose to make it an image. And it wasn't the first or last time that Johnny Depp said something, and we snickered rather than consider the expected earnestness of the circumstance later in May 2016, as Johnny Depp and Amber Heard's separation was at that point underway. The debut for Alice Into Another World was held in London. Johnny joined in, and as in commonplace of him, he was unimaginably evading with the press and the group, yet when he was inquired as to whether he had any directives for his fans, his reaction was surprising. Johnny said, "I'm terrified to death, I'm scared. And I don't have the foggiest idea what I'm confounded, and I like to return home." And afterward he laughed and grinned, and the group howled uncontrollably, yet glancing back at it is genuinely tragic, as it was another second yet again. We missed the fact that, as opposed to taking wariness and testing the eyes further, everybody snickered at Johnny's aggravation. The most shocking part anyway is the way that while he was appearing for the debuts all over the planet, his life was going to pieces. Amber was heard petitioning for a separation on May 23, 2016, 3 days after the passing of Johnny's mom, and like that wasn't sufficiently terrible to kick somebody while they're down, she likewise petitioned for a limiting request against Johnny Depp with an exceptionally open and pointless court appearance only 4 days after the fact. That the date was the 27th of May 2016, and it was the worldwide venue delivery date for Alice Through the Mirror. Yet more critically, it's the birthday of Johnny's little girl, Lily Rose. Johnny Depp additionally reviewed the odd timing as he told the court in 2022, the 27th of May, which is as a matter of fact my little girl's birthday. I saw that she had gone to the court, he proceeded, and it likewise turned out to be the day that Alice in Wonderland 2 into Another World was opening, and that is the day that she decided to go to the town hall and get a impermanent controlling request against me. And there's no rejecting that Amber Heard it picked those dates and days deliberate lie to be malicious, the way that Johnny had said only weeks sooner at the London debut of Alice Into Another World that he was terrified and scared ought to have been sufficient premonition for us to realize that something was truly out of order, yet it was one more awful second that flew right by us. We're not reasoning that Johnny Depp was the ideal spouse to Amber. However, obviously, there were countless things that were not squarely in their relationship, and a ton of that had to do with physical and boisterous attack. The sound tapes that were played during trials in 2022 have previously demonstrated that Amber was extraordinarily straightforwardly oppressive towards Johnny Depp. And it's anything but a far-reaching feeling that Johnny was quietly calling out for help. Subscribe Apple World for more videos.